what is sustainable development, what is your understanding of sustainable development. That means in terms of maximum good to achieve the greater connectivity in the Mumbai region, like destroying the environment. And this is one. And also second one, the designer babies bill is coming to picture. Then we'll also talk about equity in a society, in a society where everyone is focusing on what I get and greed. When you give something to someone and the happiness in their faces, seeing their happiness. Hello champions, welcome to Ace with IS. I am Enroll, faculty for GS. How did you write the test today? I hope you wrote well. If you face or you struck at some question or you didn't understood how to proceed further, no need to worry. I hope our discussion session now will clear all your doubts. In case if you still have the doubts, you can contact anytime. We will respond and try to clear your doubts. Thank you. So let's first discuss the question one. So what is the question? Can the idea of utilitarianism help in the attainment of sustainable development in the society? Is asking us to critically analyze. So how you will address this type of questions? First, he's asking idea of utilitarianism help the attainment of sustainable development. You can directly start your introduction by talking about what is utilitarianism. Utilitarianism deals with greater good for greater number of people, or you can also talk about maximizing happiness or utility. You can talk about this, or you can also start about what is sustainable development, what is your understanding of sustainable development. That we can write what is sustainable development. Sustainable development first focuses on future generations or using the resources efficiently so that the resources will be helpful now and also for the future generations. And also, if you didn't get any idea about what to write about sustainable development, you can also anyway follow SDG goals. What these talk about, all those 17 SDG goals, we can write. One is poverty with respect to women, education, urbanization, and also climate change. All these things. Now, the question, how this will try to help this? This is what the exact question is. How this utilitarianism will help to achieve this sustainable development goals or sustainable development. So here he asked a critically analyze. That means your body structure should contain two parts. One, yes, utilitarianism helps in attaining the sustainable development, and you should also mention no. Are there any challenges because of utilitarianism you can't attain the sustainable development? That also we can answer. So first, let's talk about how utilitarianism ensures sustainable development. So the first one is greater good for greater people, right? In this kind of a scenarios, it will try to achieve reduction of poverty and also malnutrition in the problem. These kind of a problems can be reduced. You can also mention here the example of Manrega scheme, where Manrega scheme in rural areas try to give them continuous 100 days employment that help us to reduce the poverty and also ensuring greater people of the rural sections will get some income and come out of the poverty. That you can mention with respect to poverty. And second, when you talk about utilitarianism, you're trying about maximum achieve like maximum happiness or maximum utility of the resources. That means indirectly in a way, it is talking about resource efficiency. When you talk about the resource efficiency, that means you are using the resources for now and also in an efficient manner. That means there will be resources for the future generations also. That means you are keeping in the mind future generations also. That is nothing but sustainable development also. And third, now how you can like you spoke about the poverty reduction, you talk about the yes, resource efficiency. Now you can talk about environment. See, like you're trying to reduce poverty, and plus you're talking about the resource efficiency, and given that the climate change. So in this, because of the climate change, many people will be getting affected. That means utilitarianism, with the help of utilitarianism, you can also try to reduce this climate change by global participation. The fourth one you can talk about rational policy making. By rational policy making or data driven policies, you can get impactful data in your hand, and you can help in accessing that data and try to give benefits to those people who really need. So needful development will occur, and it also in a way contributes to sustainable development. So like this, you can write 4 or 5 points how utilitarianism will help in sustainable development. And now you can criticize or how utilitarianism cannot attain the sustainable development. First, you can talk about whenever you talk about utilitarianism, the issue is majoritarianism. Majoritarian. That means it's talking about the maximum good for the maximum people. That means it's kind of neglecting the vulnerable or minority sections. So these people are left behind in the sustainable development process. And second point, what you can talk about is it is talking about maximum utility. But how can you quantify this utility? On what basis you will quantify? What is the metrics you will quantify whether it's a maximum utility or happiness? There is no such metrics till now. Yeah, Bhutan has the global happiness index, but other countries have still not have any proper metrics to quantify this. So how this is one more issue, how you will quantify the utility. And third, in any country, you talk about whether it is successful or whether it is growing or a developed nation, developing nation, everywhere you talk about economic parameters only. So there are no other parameters you need to talk about. So utilitarianism is again talking only, if only talk about economic parameters, might not lead us to sustainable development. Okay. And utilitarianism comes with a concept that maximum good for the maximum number of people. That means it is not focusing on means. Let's say, like here, you can write about the case of Mumbai. For the construction of Mumbai Metro project, around 1250 acres of area forest was been deforested. That means in terms of maximum good to achieve the greater connectivity in the Mumbai region, what we are doing, we are like destroying the environment. So this is also not sustainable development. So by writing all these points, you can conclude your answer. Utilitarianism can achieve sustainable development by taking proper care. So any extreme is not good, whether it is no utilitarianism or when 100% proficiency. This also can't be extreme. Like with utilitarianism and proper precautions, we can achieve the golden mean to ensure all the SDG goals are met and proper holistic development is made. You can conclude your answer with this. So let's come to the second question now. To believe in something and not to live it is dishonesty. So in your UPSC exam, whenever you get these code-based questions, there is a particular structure that you need to get followed. The first one, for every code that is asked in the UPSC examination, there will be a hidden value. What is a value it is talking about? To believe in something and not to live with. That means it's talking about integrity. You're believing something, but you're not doing it. That means you are not honest to yourself. That is means the core value of this particular code is integrity. So first one is to identify by the value under this particular code. And second, if you believe this particular code is correct, you can justify in favor of that code. Or you can also justify against the code. If you believe that code is not as per your moral things, you can justify against it. That is up to you. And then third point, how this particular quote is relevant in the present context, relevance. And then fourth one, a conclusion. So this is the structure you need to follow for a code-based question in the UPSC GS4 paper. Now on these lines, let's try to address this particular question. So what is the inner value that is hiding in this question? To believe in something and not to live with it is dishonesty. That means it's talking about integrity. You can directly start your introduction by saying this particular quote talks about the integrity and justify that. And then the second part is how to justification of the quote. Here also, in the justification of the quote also, you can follow the hierarchical base. First, you can go as an individual level, and then state or society, state, and then nation level or international level we can talk about also, or you can talk about the institutions also, like public servants or public institutions. You can also talk about that. Like this, you can start. So first one, when you talk about that individual level, that means like you're saying something but you're not doing. That means hypocrisy. What does hypocrisy leads to? That people will not believe in you. That leads to reduce in credibility. And let's say at the society level, the relationships, it harms your relationship because you will say you will do that thing and you will not do. So social relationships might get hampered. And third, let's say about institution level or organization level, you will lose trust on that particular organization or institute. Okay, like once you have justified this, or you can talk about the international relation also. When it comes to India, it always followed what it preached. That means we always been the helpful country for all the nations and supplier of medicines or anywhere who's the need of the country is. Take, we can write example the COVID also. During COVID also, we supplied many vaccines to the other country. That means we are following our ethics, or we are doing what we believed for. So in the international relations also, you can give some example of a country or something, or which followed mainly of consumerism or something and not followed their original beliefs. That also you can write in these 4 points. Now, once the justification is done, how this quote is relevant to present context. So in the present context, first directly what you can think about the climate change. See, the climate change, we have came up with the Paris Pact and also national contributions, NDCs. Now, let's say all these countries have promised that they will achieve their NDCs, but if they fail to keep that promises, they will like embarrassed in front of other countries, and also the other following countries will lose the trust on them towards combating the climate change. So that directly you can write in the present context climate change. And also with respect to individual level, you can talk about decision making. So when you are doing what you preach, like you can take a better decisions and people will follow you for your decisions that you can do. And also talk about the present governance. In the present governance architecture or anywhere where we focus on accountability, transparency and everything. If we give them, if you preach them exactly, then it will lead to ethical governance plus good governance. So in this manner, you can quote the examples in the present context also. And let's see the question 3. The implementation of ethics face numerous challenges in today's complex and rapidly changing world. So the keyword of this question is today's complex and rapidly changing world. So let's do a mind map of what is complex and rapidly changing world. So first thing I can think about is technological disruption. So in the technology, you can talk about AI plus robotics also. Or you can talk about gene editing, designer babies, we call it. And also you can talk about surveillance versus security, global surveillance versus security. That you can talk about technological aspects. You can also talk about the climate induced refugees. That also you can talk about. And you can also talk about the consumerism, profit motives. And in the international level, you can think about the nation's self-interest with respect to climate funding or any other funding, self-interest is placed on. And you can talk about the communities like LGBT. So by dividing all these things, now you have to see why ethics faces numerical challenges. So with respect to AI plus robotics, first first challenge that comes with respect to is on whom accountability or responsibility will be made. Okay, the moral responsibility or accountability on whom with respect to AI robotics. And with respect to gene editing, some argue in favor of ethics, some argue this is against God's birth. And this is one. And also second one, if the designer babies bill is coming to picture, then we'll also talk about equity, rich versus poor, as this is only accessible to the rich and poor cannot access this kind of a facilities. And surveillance for the security, as per you can mention Article 21, right to privacy. But on the similar lines, for the security purpose, surveillance is a must to check terror attacks, all those things. That also you can mention. With respect to climate refugees, in the coming climate change and many countries because of the increased water level submerging, so this becomes the more important thing. But no many countries are accepting the refugees. You can example mention the Rohingyas, even though there are not climate refugees, but Rohingyas are not refused, are not accepted by many countries. And LGBT communities. Some countries have accepted LGBT community, their marriages and everything, but some countries still didn't do. And then self-interest with respect to nations. Nations always place their self-interest rather than the global community net. That you can talk about. And consumerism. In the name of consumerism, uh, we are getting very polluted with respect to milk adulteration, mainly adulteration of milk or adulteration of paneer, eggs, everything. In the name of consumerism, they are not providing a quality food that leading ethical challenges. So you can mention all these things and we can talk about how you can achieve this in order to better get a greater good, helpful for all. You can conclude with that. Now let's see the fourth question. It is often said that politics and ethics do not go together. What is your opinion in this regard? Justify your answer with illustration. Again, in these kinds of a question, again, you can talk about politics and ethics separately. What does individual thing mean? And he's asking for your opinion. If if you want to justify the same statement, politics and ethics do not go together, justify that. If not, contradict that. So the one thing is first, let's say you want to go against to this particular statement, mention those points with your main focus on that particular thing, and also give 2 to 3 points on the opposite, and then give you in the conclusion justify that why you selected this particular option. Opinion, what is your opinion, what are the reasons? Because he's asking for your opinion, so you want to write both things and then you need to decide what is your opinion the first, why you selected the first one. Okay, on this basis, let's discuss this question. Politics and ethics do not go together. Okay, first let's discuss politics doesn't go together with ethics. So what all things you can talk about? What are the things that are coming to your mind? Politics and ethics are now not go hand together. So what is meant by, like, here you can talk about power struggle. They want to come into the power by anything. Like you can mention horse trading, purchasing the MLS in order to get to the power. That is power struggle. And then vote bank politics by various policies that are attracting the public, or regional identities, raising the regional identities, or religious or regional, to come into the power, that you can talk about. And what more power? And now means is not focused, just ends. And it is focusing on ends over means. That means you just want to come into power by any means, by giving money, by colluding, or fake voters, by doing all these things. And you can also mention in the global relationships also, where they place their interests, selfish interests, without thinking about the ethical consequences and everything. So how politics and ethics are together, go together. So here the first point you can mention itself, the democracy. Democracy itself, that means you are giving equal representation, equal vote rights. They're giving their a channel to voice their issues. And is democracy itself is politics plus ethics going hand by hand. And without ethics, politics will lead to corruption plus poor accountability. So politics and ethics should go hand in hand. And you can also cite about ethical leadership. What do you mean by ethical leadership? You can quote examples like Mandela, Mahatma Gandhi, all these things, how they ensured ethical leadership and how they are inspiration to the future generations. So you can talk about ethical. And also when politics plus ethics go hand in hand, problems of the vulnerable sections are addressed properly. That leads to inclusive society. So politics and ethics go hand in hand. You can give a proper conclusion based on your opinion, whether you are favor of this or your favor of both going hand in hand. So the next question, the essence of a happy life and a peaceful society can indeed be encapsulated in the phrase, what can I give? So what is this entirely talking about? Selflessness. So the question itself has given us two things. Happy life. What can I give? Can lead to happy life. And what can I give? Can lead to peaceful society. So first we will discuss what can I give notion, how this will lead to happy life. So first thing, when we give something to somebody, we will feel satisfied, less content. In a society, in a society where everyone is focusing on what I get and read, when you give something to someone and the happiness in their faces, seeing their happiness, you'll be satisfied and you will get content. And second one, the self or ego or self-interest will be decreased. And this leads to happiness also. How? You can quote the Gautam Buddha's quote here. Uh, the problem for all, like the reason for all the problems is desire. By giving this, but by giving what can I give? By this thought, we are letting our desire go. That means all our like problems might reduce, and we'll go in a happiness path by reducing our ego or self-interest. And then third thing you can talk about creativity. Like in the thought process of what I can give, you will ensure like increase your creativity by giving a possible solutions. Plus, you'll also self-aware of yourself. You'll truly understand what you are by questioning yourself, what can I give? Then you will understand your own capabilities and also provide an inspiration for others. So that leads to happy life. Okay, this is the first part of the question. So the next part, what can I give? Thought leads to peaceful society. So first, harmonious relationships, harmonious plus tolerance. Because no one is fighting for what I want, rather than everyone is giving what everyone's thinking what I can give back to the society. So everyone can live in an harmony and tolerance in a good social relationships. And second, ethical citizenship. Ethical citizens, because everyone will think, let's say the doctor, instead of a thought of scamming people or earning money, he will think about I will do my duty better and I can give what I can give to the patients a better treatment. And army people you can quote off, or public servants. Everyone, public servants can also think about what I can give in a better manner service, what I can do the service. This helps in a good governance, or he can be more open to the public by reaching out the public opinion, how to develop this particular problem or how to deal with this particular problem. So more public participation, and it will leads to decision, better decision making, because more participation, decision making, and accountability will also get increased. So this is how what can I give at an individual level, society level, you can talk about. And also fourth, when you talk about peaceful society, you can also bring the international angle here. Like everyone, what I can give back can again fight the climate changes, or you can talk about the cyber crimes or cyber terrorism or terrorism. All these challenges can be reduced with the notion of what I can give. Now let's see the next question, which is a case study. What is it saying? You are the head of a government-funded university. A group of students has been found cheating in an examination using advanced technology to access answers. The faculty is divided. Some demand strict punishment, uphold integrity, while others argue leniency, citing students' academic pressure and also lack of ethical guidance. Teaching of Swami Vivekananda on education as a character building. What are the ethical issues involved in this case? So just now let's think about what are the ethical issues involved in this case. As the students have used the advanced technology to get answers. So that is first one is misuse. We can write misuse of technology. The second important thing has been found cheating. That means the ethical compromise of ethicality, compromising ethics. That means the institute as itself has compromised its ethics because the students are opted a route for cheating. And third, here the faculty said it's divided. That means when the faculty itself was divided, how to proceed with the action. So they can't enable a strict moral code or action, which creates a more leniency to the students to take such more actions in the future. And fourth one, And the fourth one, let's say there are two types of students here. One who get access to the technologies and got the answers, and the second one who studied hard and tried to write in the exam. Both are evaluated in the same manner. If this issue wouldn't have come into the picture, that means unfair level playing field, no level playing field, because some were access to technologies and answers, some was not. So it's not a level playing field for everyone. So these are the ethical issues you can mention. And fifth one, fifth one you can talk about is lack of ethical guidance. That means no ethical framework or taking the correct decisions on wrong decisions. That is not imparted in the education system. That you can mention in this particular case study. And the next question is, how would you address the situation to ensure fairness and also promote ethical behavior? So in this kind of a situation, first, generally, what a transparent committee will place a transparent committee that all check everything and give a proper decision. And second, here it is mentioned academic pressure. That means students are coming into the academic pressure. That means again the academic curriculum need to be checked and again rewritten if it's placing so much pressure on the students. And third thing you can talk about is then they said lack of ethical guidance. So lack of ethical guidance, you can add ethics as a topic in their academic structure or regular ethics sessions or counselings you can take. And fourth, if the committee has announced the perpetuators, strict disciplinary action should be taken. Strict disciplinary action should be taken in order to ensure that no more students will take this particular route, cheating the exam. So that the fourth point. And fifth point you can talk about, there should be a charter, ethics charter on a honor code that mentioning the what are the ethical guidelines or what are the ethicality behavior the student, like the particular institution is expecting from the students, that need to be done. And then sixth one, there should be a regular interaction between the student and the faculty in order to ensure that any grievance of the particular student, if he didn't understand any topic or anything, if he feeling so much pressure, that can be handled by regular teacher-student meeting. That we can talk about the solving these issues. Now, the third question, how can Educational Institute integrate Vivekananda's principle to foster ethical values? So, what does the Vivekananda education take on education is? First one, education should be in a way that it should develop the character of that particular person. Education that leads to character development. That is the first thing you can talk about. And the second one is service oriented education. That means the institutes or the universities should also include the service oriented education. That means the students should go to the nearby villages or the rural areas and help the needy people. That is service oriented education. Then the third thing is like assessment, holistic assessment. So the student should be assessed in a holistic manner rather than just on the marks and the ranks. So these are the things Vivekananda has talked about this particular education. Like you can include those points also. So let's come to the seventh question. You are a social worker in a rural community where a young woman has been ostracized by her family for choosing a career over an early arranged marriage. The community believes her decision defies traditional values and she faces social isolation and threats. First from the community. And her family now claiming upholding the societal norms while she argues for her right, personal freedom and dignity as a social worker. First, we need to identify the ethical conflicts. You can directly start your introduction with Article 21, where it gives us the personal freedom and everything, and it's also talking about child marriage. You can link that to the child marriage also. So, what are the ethical conflicts that are involved? First one, gender equality versus patriarchy. You can also talk about here the families upholding the traditional values. That means modern versus traditional also you can bring. That also conflicts. And second one, her choice versus societal isolation. You can also bring about her moral courage versus societal pressure. You can also think about her autonomy with respect to her choice, her decisions versus family honor. You can describe all these things and just give you one explaining each section. That would be enough for the first question. And the second one, how would you mediate between the woman, her family, and the community to foster understanding? So here there are three things he clearly mentioned in the question: the woman, her family, and the community. I can either you can directly give 3 points mentioning if it's for a woman what you will do, for her family, for community, or you can give a like bunch of points that is addressing all the three things. First, with respect to community, when it comes to the community, we need to have high level community people or popular people in that particular region to come and talk about this. Like, for example, the government officials, the teachers, or the rural Anganwadi workers, everyone who has the popularity in that particular region, they can come and they can talk. And then you need to create a awareness. You need to create awareness about the individual rights of her individual rights, and also child marriage is a criminal offense. All these awareness we need to give, and also you can talk about the role models. You can also talk about the role models, which in a way provide an inspiration to the girl and also to her family. And as a social worker, you also need to uh, go file a complaint against, because she is facing isolation and also threats. So a better police protection or needs to be done. Ensure her protection. And also now you need to give some what is it, confidence to that particular woman so that she can challenge, because she's talking about career, means that means the woman led empowerment. You can also talk about the role models that were there here, and also counseling to the family. Counseling to the family should be given in order to ensure that these practices will in fact affect the children's growth and should not be done. And is talking about the societal norms, because by giving a proper counseling, they will come out of this particular mindset and ensure the woman will get a proper justice. So, what role can a society play in inculcating values that balance tradition and individual freedom? So, here the root of this is case study is patriarchy. So, now your answer should be in a way that what is the role of the society can play in a way to reduce the patriarchy. So, first, we need to increase the women education, increase literacy of women, and then there should need a more penetration of SHGs in that particular region in order to ensure the economic empowerment of the women. So in order to talk about next political empowerment, in order to ensure that 73rd Amendment Act of Constitutional Amendment Act, which provides 33% reservation to the women in the local body uh, chiefs, heads of the local bodies, that should be ensured so as that women come out of their homes and can participate politically also. And fourth, there should be constant awareness schemes that needs to be done in order to increase the literacy and health and overall condition of the women. And then fifth, we can talk about role models. We can project the role models of the SSGs or the Anganwadi workers and project them as a role models. And this, in a way, increase the participation of the women in the social, economic, and political regions. In this manner, you can talk about short-term changes also and long-term also to give the holistic picture to that particular question. So that's all for today's session. I think if you have faced any particular issues apart from this, you can contact us. We will be anyways always available for you. Thank you.